Welcome back to Words of Ex-Mormon for the last video of this little session here. Number 1, scariest thing that is taught in the Mormon Church. Now, there were 10 videos altogether. If you haven't seen those other 10 videos, please feel free to go and watch those videos. Please let me know if you have like maybe a little different order that you would put these in. I want to know if you have other things that you're afraid of in the church, or like that scared you when you were an active member, something that worries you currently. I would love to hear about that. Please leave me a comment. You can send me an email. I'm more than happy to discuss those. I love to hear from those who follow me, and so please feel free. And with that, we'll just jump right in. The number 1 scariest thing for me in the Mormon Church is being called into the bishop's office. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That's actually not. I'm kidding. We do know all know that feeling though, like when you're getting called in the bishop though, right? To the bishop's office and you're like, what is going on? Honestly, in normal circumstances, you don't really get called into the bishop's office for doing something wrong. Like most of the time he's going to offer you a calling, which also can be pretty scary. So if that's something that is terrifying to you, like you're seen, I understand you, I get it. You know, like when I left the church, the last day that I went to church, the bishop called me into his office, and that was terrifying to me. I knew that he knew that I was leaving, and I didn't really want to talk about it. And honestly, at that time, I was more afraid of my bishop than I was my dad when I was a little kid. So, you know, it's like, I think it's an authority thing. You know, there's this guy that could have very potentially large amounts of power over you, and that is always kind of a scary thing. But really, let's get to the real thing. The really, truly scariest applicable thing that I think the church teaches on a regular basis currently, number 1, is sad heaven. Some of you may not know what sad heaven is. One of the biggest draws to the Mormon Church, and I think what is one of the biggest converters, is that families can be together forever. Now, for me, I was inactive in college, and the only reason I came back to church was that I had a lot of friends who were getting married in the temple, and I was really jealous because I wanted to find a man who was going to love me forever and ever. I thought it was very romantic. And I also wanted to, when I had children, I wanted to be able to be with them forever as well. So that's why I went back to church at that time. And so I think that it's realistic that one of the biggest draws for people who join the church is knowing that the church teaches that they can be with their families forever. We love our families. We don't like to think about being separated from them. So I think though that it's important to notice that the key word in the phrase families can be together forever is the word can. They can be together forever. As I briefly mentioned in previous scary topics, Mormons also believe in 3 levels of heaven. The celestial kingdom is the highest kingdom, and you can only go to that kingdom and be with God himself if you are basically perfect. And Mormons will argue that. They'll say, no, you just need to repent. Like nobody's perfect. That's where grace comes in, but Mormons don't really believe in grace. It's another video. There's lots of videos. You know, but you just need to keep repenting. This requires a lot of strict rules to be followed, though, in order to get into the celestial kingdom. You must maintain a temple recommend, which requires garment wearing. It requires tithing, which is 10% of your income. Doesn't matter if you agree with or disagree with what the church uses it for. I disagree with what they use it for. They have billions, probably close to $200 billion now. Word of wisdom following, which means no coffee, no tea. There's a lot of things that go into the word of wisdom too, and most Mormons don't follow that. They eat a lot of meat. They eat a lot of sugar. But coffee and tea, man, you drink coffee and tea, you're going straight to not the celestial kingdom. Regular church activity as well. You have to be an active member of the church. The celestial kingdom excludes anyone who does not fit into that narrow box. It excludes LGBTQIA members. It excludes people who have not been baptized or who belong to other religions or who have never heard of the church before. Like literally just in order to not go there, you just have to not have ever heard of the church. I mean, yeah, there's the baptisms for the dead and everything like that, but like that's iffy. Anyway, so because you have to accept it, you know, like you have to be taught it, like it's overwhelming. Anyway, but especially it's scary in regards to people who have rejected the teachings of the church, who have denied baptism, or who have left the church. So when someone leaves the organization, it means that their family will not be together in the celestial kingdom. Indeed, while my experience in leaving the church and deconstructing has been largely a really good one with a lot of very supportive people, the people who haven't been very supportive have expressed their anger for me in this specific reason. And seriously, not even sadness, like anger about it. I am single-handedly ruining their family, and leaving the church is a personal affront to them because of it. It means that their family can't be together forever. Really what it means is that I won't be there. But I guess I should take that as like they love me so much, but honestly, like if they loved me so much, I digress. Anyway, never mind. And honestly, like it is understandable. It's understandable when you believe that this teaching that everybody in your family, like you make covenants and you have to walk up to those covenants and you have to obey those covenants and you have to be faithful your whole life in order to be together, and it's important for you to be with your family. Like it really is understandable. Forgive my bitterness. But you know, it's a scary thing for men who are fathers and quote heads of the household. But it's especially terrifying for women because we are taught our entire lives that our family's success in the church and their salvation is 100% our responsibility. Again, the articles of faith say that's not true. And anyone you talk to in the church, true believing Mormons, will say that's not true. But also it's very, very internalized in most women in the church. There is a talk that is either famous for those who are in the church or infamous if you're in any way nuanced in the church or if you're out of the church, by Ezra Taft Benson, that was given in 1981, that women have literally been taught about and have lived ever since. Everything that teaches women that we should be mothers in the home and that teaches us that we are the primary caregivers to our children, that we are primarily responsible for our children's spiritual well-being and their teaching and their education that way. All of that stems from his talk from 1981. It's called The Honored Place of Women. And the title's very misleading because it's not even referring to any kind of honor women have or should be given. It instead heaps upon us all responsibility for everyone else in the family, especially her children, but also her husband. Now, you might think that's just one talk. Like I said, though, it's the entire drive behind the whole Mormon Church, literally teaching women to stay in the home, not to work outside the home, and that when you do pursue education, it should be things that are compatible with motherhood. It also coined the phrase, no empty chairs, referring to the goal to have everyone in your family in the celestial kingdom. In April 2019, Nelson said in his talk, Come Follow Me, some erroneously believe that the resurrection of Jesus Christ provides a promise that all people will be with their loved ones after death. The Savior himself has made it abundantly clear that while his resurrection assures that every person who ever lived will indeed be resurrected and live forever, much more is qualified if we want to have the high privilege of exaltation, meaning the celestial kingdom and meaning the place where we can be with our families forever. While there is speculation that people who do not make it to the celestial kingdom will be allowed, and I'm not quoting I'm sorry if that sounded like I was quoting anymore, I'm just reading my notes. While there's speculation that, people who don't make it to the celestial kingdom will be allowed to go down and visit their family members who didn't make it to the celestial kingdom, there's there's no like official doctrinal teaching that that would be possible. So this quote, along with Nelson's likewise famous or infamous talk in October 2023, called Think Celestial, gave little hope for anyone that families actually will be together for eternity if anyone screws up. And that's frustrating because like the celestial kingdom is supposed to be this place of glory and a place of happiness and a place of no more suffering or anything like that. But it seems to me like, because you'll be with God, okay? But it seems to me like anyone who would go there and then you would find, well, my kids didn't get to come. My parents didn't get to come. Maybe you have a best friend that didn't get to come and you never get to see them again. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Maybe you can go down and see them. I don't know. Again, that's a cultural thing, not a doctrinal thing. There's nothing in the doctrine saying that you can actually go and visit those people, at least that I could find. But, you know, that's why it's called sad heaven. That's why a lot of people call it sad heaven. That's why there's that thing, no empty seats. It doesn't mean there won't be empty seats. It just means that moms, you got to get your family there. So guilt trip them, whatever you have to do so that they do what the church wants them to do. And then they get to celestial kingdom. But it's not, how can you be happy? How can you be happy around God if God is the one who's like, nope, bye. You don't get to be here because you made a mistake and you chose wrong. You guessed wrong. You guessed the wrong religion. And, you know, to be honest, like for some people, the idea of being with their family for eternity or their ex-husband for eternity is an extremely terrifying concept. So that's something you have to think about. You know, they say you get a choice, but also Brigham Young got himself sealed to a young girl who told him no, she wasn't going to marry him. As soon as she died, she married somebody else and had kids with him and everything. As soon as she died, he went and got himself sealed to her, and her kids technically are now Brigham Young's, who she had with this other man. So did she really get a choice? I don't know. I don't feel like we ever got any choices in the church, and that's really scary to me. So with that said, that is the end of my little not so little list of 10 scariest things that are taught in the church. Please feel free to listen to all of my videos, and they're shorter videos, and talk about the scary things. Let me know the scariest things that you have learned in the church. Happy Halloween. Hopefully this is just kind of a little fun thing for everybody to listen to. I would definitely love to have a conversation though, and I will look forward to hearing from you. Leave a comment, send an email. I'll talk to you next week.